Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again on another edition of the weekly Brainstorm. I see a few new faces and I see a few who have been here before. Thanks everyone who have joined in again. To those who have joined in new, let me try and explain a little bit about what the weekly Brainstorm is about. We basically have one startup. Today we have Best Roomies by Gotham present. And we as a founder community, right, try and brainstorm on what it will take for them to succeed. The format actually mirrors a lot of what we do on the unsolved.xyz platform itself. Just that on the platform, we do it in a written format and we are able to do it for multiple startups. Over here, it's video and conversation and meetup and things like that. And therefore, we can't do it for as many, but we handpick a few that we find are solving interesting problems, something that will hopefully tickle your brains, give something back to the founder from a takeaway, and of course, keep me happy with great conversation as well, right? I think that's the objective of the weekly brainstorm. We're just trying to ideate, on a single idea. The hope really is that by taking one topic and discussing it end to end, hopefully there are a few takeaways that you can go back and apply to either your own startup, something that you're planning to work on, or maybe even to the work that you do on a day-to-day basis. So that's about it from my side. Gautam, over to you to kind of take over and share a little bit about what Best Room is about. Take stage, Gautam. Yeah.
Great. Thanks a lot, Ishwar. Also, thanks a lot for everybody who's joined us today. I hope that we can put all of our minds together and see the solution or the product I'm trying to present is marketable, or is it a valid product to be put out there in the market. So the problem we are trying to solve is basically youth housing, right? So if you after graduating from colleges, a lot of people migrate from their hometowns to big cities looking for accommodation. Also, there are property owners out there who are looking to get tenants. These property owners might be a flat owner or a PG owner. So currently, how it's really happening is that people are joining the popular flatmate groups, and then there are also other online solutions like the No Broker or 99 Acres and Magic Bricks, and also there are like co-living spaces like Nestaway and Oyo Life. I think is the other big player in this market. So these are the options available for youth in the market out there. The common problem which I've found, which I thought wasn't solved yet, is that getting the property is not a big deal in today's place, right? You can get a property for any of the rental budget. The problem really is the experience of living when I move into that property or move into that co-living space, right? What kind of people I'm going to share my life with? Will it be really a boring life where I'm going to be like alone in my room during the weekends, or my conversation would be limited to just about talking about weather and general politics, or I could help these people find friends with whom they can really use their free time for their mutual growth. What do I mean by mutual growth? Like everybody has interests. Like it could be photography, cooking, maybe traveling. You really wanted a chilled out life when you wanted to move out of your house. So this could be one of the interests. There could be also be interests based on profession. This is actually, honestly speaking, this is the problem I really face, is that I was a developer, a bad developer at that, and I was looking for a roommate who could really help me in my career growth. So with that being the thing, and I noticed it when I traveled to different cities. Every time I was just hoping to meet people who could be fun, with whom I could exchange ideas. But sometimes I ended up with people where it was just silent, awkward silences. So with that being an experience, and we continue to see this even today. If you look out any of the popular flat and flatmate groups, where people say that I'm looking for a chilled out flatmate, but the kind of it's just a shout out, hoping that you will get somebody who's similar or has is in similar vibrations with you. but there is no defined, or there's no structure to it. So with that being a problem, I think, and whatever I observed, I'll put it to the audience to say if it's really a problem they've also faced. Uh, I, I set out on developing best rooms. So what we are doing is, it's a simple app where you can share, you can move, you can sign up, and they can tell about more about themselves, the kind of locations they're looking at, the kind of interest they are, the kind of people they are. And the hope is that if there is a group of 100 people, a sample size of 100 people, you would be able to find somebody in that 100 people who has similar vibes as you. Also, I hope really that using this product, you're able to, like, especially for deep inside, the desire is really for the startup enthusiasts, that you're able to find roommates with whom you can build your own ideas. If you probably you have an idea, we see it daily in Unsolved, um, where people are sharing ideas. The idea is to you stay in a house and build on that idea. Uh, and also, the idea is to help the customer who is a rental landlord. The idea is to help him compete with these co-living spaces who have got a massive marketing budget, um, to help them promote their properties and get landlords. I'll quickly share you the screen. During the course of discussion, definitely you can ask me questions, and then you can see how, if the product solves the problem. Um, I'll just quickly share the screen right away. One second. I hope my screen is visible now. Two
Yeah.
seconds should be there, right? It's visible now, right?
No, 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 it's not visible.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Okay. Sorry for that. Just sorry for the. I'm not sure why the share tab is working. But I'll give you a running commentary of what the product is. So the users can log in using their phone number and Facebook application, Facebook sign in. I'm really sorry why the.
Do you want me to share my screen and just load your website?
Or I think now you should be able to see my screen. Would that be
Yeah,
fair?
yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. Oh, thank you. Sorry for the uh,
So just a
problem.
quick note for those who are watching the screen share, there is a button to maximize the screen so you can see this better. So it's suggested to maximize your screen so the view is better, right? Yeah.
So quickly, so this is the product we have. Also, one of the problems is about the genuineness, about the profile with which you're sharing your information. We really hope this product helps you find, genuine people out there. So quickly, I'm just going to sign in and show you what we're trying to do. The goal really is to categorize people uh, uh, based on their status. So let's say I'm looking for a room. I can log in and show. I can choose my interests. There are this list of about 16 interests, professional interests, and there is a list of about uh, 16 personal interests. And then also, it's very important that my rental, the actual need of finding a house, is also being taken care of. So with that being the case, there is a place place where you can enter your rental details as well. Quickly, I'm just going to share that. 2 seconds. All right, here we are. I apologize. So the idea is, so when you sign up, or a person signs up, he or she has an option of sharing their details. Like, the idea is to share. You could find, if you share your profession, you could probably find somebody who is in a similar profession as you. You can also share your top three professional interests. The idea is, in the long run, should you be considering a career transition, you could find somebody who has supplementary or some interest overlapping where you can with whom you can discuss the same. Your rental details, the
Pratham,
light.
right now we are only be able to see the landing page. We're not able to see whatever you're discussing right now.
Oh, I'm really sorry. 1 second. Let's, let's hang on. Let me try again. All right. Can you see my screen right now? Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry, really sorry. I could. So idea was if you were to click on a Roomie sign up, you could choose based on your status, and you could choose between a looking room and a having room. As soon as you sign up, this would be your dashboard where you could enter your information. So you could choose your top three, let's say uh, interests as you wish. The idea is to match them based on your top three interests. You could share your likes, uh, your personal interests. You could probably give a personal introduction about yourself. I'm sorry, I'm just given the admin this thing, admin details. You could share your social links. LinkedIn, if you want somebody to have a look at your experience or your creativity in Instagram, Facebook, you could do the same, and you could enter your rental details, and and the next step obviously is this standard which you would see in any uh, real estate profile, is about the kind of requirements you have. uh, uh, you could also enter your top three locations if you're looking at, and the the rest of the jazz is similar to any other real estate profile, being the indoor amenities you need, or outdoor amenities you need, or pictures to help attract people. I'll quickly now, once you publish your profile, you could quickly see the profiles of these sample profiles we have, where you could see other people with similar interests. You could shortlist them based on uh, different filters, be it interest or the uh, real estate requirements. And also, let's say you were to find somebody, like let's say I and Ravi were to decide that, hey, we were to communicate that, hey, hey Ravi, your profile looks good. Why don't we decide to share a room together? We could also do the same, and we could look for an accommodation within the same website. Quickly, just to show you, and you could access properties within the same website, and you could contact any of the landlords available out here, and choose to select the landlords uh, uh, to to stay with. So that is the core of the product. Um, I will now open it for discussion so that people can ask questions and see what the initial people think about the product.
Um, you could probably just stop the screen share now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, few questions, right? So one is Lalit, who's the co-founder of Amit, the platform that we're using, right? He's a little confused. Are you marketplace? Are you SaaS for PG? Right? So are you a marketplace connecting
Yeah.
people with PG providers?
Yes. Yes. We are a marketplace for property owners. Although you can only see PG owners right now, we're onboarding flat landlords as well. So you'd see both flat and PG landlords together.
So I'm just noticing, like, the questions that are coming on the platform, right? So a lot of them are now asking, can you request a
Sorry, Ishwar, voice is getting cut. 1 second. I'm sorry, Ishwar, voice is uh, got, gotten cut. All right. So yeah. So as until Ishwar comes, I'm just quickly going to go through the questions. Can you request landlords to add their existing customers or occupants? We can, but the idea was to I'm just trying to understand, like, if I'm the resident of a PG right now, right? So if my landlord were to add me, he could definitely add me to get a review probably. But I'm just trying to understand if you could tell me how or what would be the reason. It would be helpful for him to add landlords. That would be really helpful. I hope my voice is clear. Hi guys, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. I'm just going through the questions just to. I just want to. I'm just coming to the chat section to see. Oh, great, great. I just want to make sure that uh, you know uh, I'm online. Sorry about that. So I'll just quickly go through the questions over here, guys. All right. So I'm just quickly. Right. So Francis, I'm coming to you. That is a solution we have that is there in the thoughts, but I cannot reveal further about it. But that is a thought. That is a thought we definitely have about it. Problem is more like to how to find like-minded friends. Um, yes, it is basically to how to find like-minded friends. The idea is to help you find your founders, co-founders. Uh, you know, um, Ideas to help you find your founders, co-founders as a startup enthusiast, so that you don't really have to go out there and register in an office or anything like that. Start build the product within your house, have people with you, share expenses, equity, and to reduce that problem which any startup founder finds. That is the core, but we are expanding it to a normal people also who are looking for jobs. You could probably, if I'm probably working at Deloitte, I'm looking for a person who's working in PwC just for understanding what's going on. That is also a part of it. You could be a journalist, lawyer, doctor. That would definitely be. Is it limited to working professional? So you could definitely add your student. There is a. I'm sorry. I'll just if so there is a working studying option. It is currently aimed at, but students can also sign in you can say I'm studying at Delhi University. This is my stream, and you can still select the interest. So that's why it's generic. So it's between from 18 to 20, any age anybody can sign up, right?
Hey,
Can
God,
you? Yes.
you have
Hi.
you have not been live for a fair bit of time.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ishwar. Hang on. I was just checking if. Can you hear me clearly now?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I have not been live for a fair bit of time or you've not been live. I don't know what's been happening, but one of us only was live.
Yes.
You know.
So I kind of asked in the chat if I was not there. The response was that the audience could hear me, so I was going through the questions the audience is asking.
I think I got disconnected. Everyone's just confirming I got disconnected, right? Go ahead. I'm just going to catch up on.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Ishwar, I'm just going through the questions the audience is asking.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sorry. Right. So I'm just going through the question the audience is asking. Like one of the questions was, is it only limited to working professional? The answer is anybody can sign up. Yes, maybe the marketing or the this thing marketing might come up as like aimed at working professional, but the option is working, studying at so and studying following so and so stream. So that is definitely an option, uh, right? And then, are you a marketplace or a SaaS PG revenue model? So that's a great, fantastic question. So, so I've Shailendra, I, I'm not sure if I was able to demonstrate properly, but the idea you would have seen that there are six blocks of landlords per page, right? So that is on purpose. Uh, you even if the landlord were to change their moving in date or details, they would still it is first come FIFO, first in first out basis. But if you want to come ahead, there is a bounce feature which is work in progress. Honestly, I'll try my best to make sense. Definitely question me if I'm not making any sense. So the idea is there's six profiles, six cards per page, right? So if I'm the seventh person, I'd go back. So if I have to come back, I have to bounce myself. If you remember in forums, we do that. We do a bounce feature, bouncing this thread up, right? So that is the idea. If I could probably charge a landlord saying that, hey, $400, you can bounce your profile to the front 5 times. You know, this is the analytics. These are the number of people who have seen your property. That is one. Okay. Second is again, this is still in the works right now. Is that if based on the leads a landlord is getting, if they're getting 2 3 phone calls from us, we could probably say that you're getting 3 phone calls. If you want your property to appear in more searches, more visibility, there is a there is a charge for that. Third is this. Again, what I'm trying to say is these are explorations right now, because we're still trying to first make sure that the product works. The third, see, what we have noticed is that the flat landlords are not as loyal as the PG landlords. PG landlords are really loyal. They'll give you the information. We've done this service offline as well. We've done it for women. Like we run PG groups in here in Gurgaon, and Bangalore, Mumbai, everywhere we have, but we're running the operation in Gurgaon. So PG landlords will have a subscription model where they can say that our will charge you so and so, we'll get you so many people from our website. The subscription, they're more loyal, they're very up to date, and we've gotten them tenants, and there have been times when tenants didn't inform us that we've taken a PG recommended by you, but these PG landlords were like, hey, we got this tenant from you. So we've tested and we've realized that these are more loyal people. So there's definitely a subscription model for them. For a flat person, it would be like any other real estate website, or like boost it to get it premium feature, or pay it before it,
So,
paid. Yeah. Sorry, issue, right? FB has a plugin that helps in finding right roommate. I've seen on many college juniors use it. How will you differentiate, as FB has so much about individual preference, friend circle, network easier to engage? That helps, right? If right, so Swami, if the references towards the flatmates groups, yes, that is a huge competition for us. The advantage of flatmate groups is already there about 100,000 people per in a group. So the idea is to tell them that in a flatmate group also there is a lot of data where a lot of brokers approach women, trouble women, the fake profiles coming in there. So the idea is, and also the biggest problem with Facebook is that you have to keep scrolling down, right? If you were to look for a property, you have to keep scrolling down, and eventually it becomes a pain when you have to keep here. There are filters and easy to shortlist the properties. So that we hope is the better solution. Almost sounds like search engine optimization. Yes, it does sound like search engine optimization. It is in a way we're giving the landlords a platform to have that individual. It can be, although it's too early, but it could be um, uh, Airbnb ish. It could be, although it's very early to say, but that is long term rentals with where demand is captured in 99 acres and everything. Demand is not captured in a sense, like the phone is entered. uh, the idea is like every 1 or 2 years I'll be shifting a house, right? So there is a constant way where there's a place I know that there's a house and a flatmate, that problem is solved in an easier way, where I'll find the right people wherever I need. Can you open possibilities to similar to job? Like currently, I'm working with XYZ company. However, I'm searching for PQR profile in ABC company. However, changing room might be difficult than changing a job. That is perfectly. I understand like the occupant. The probability of changing house is not very often. It's probably a once in a year time, once in a year moment. But that is the side benefit of it. Like if you were to sign up maybe the side benefit we are saying, like if you were to sign up, you could browse through profiles in your area who are in a probably in a company you could use to social. You could just I could just probably look for somebody who's in my area who's also a startup enthusiast, who's probably a web developer or a UI developer. So that is can be a side benefit to it.
Sorry, I know I've been disconnecting a lot, right? Just want to jump back in. One, apologize to everyone for whatever. I'm just facing a lot of internet issues right now. But few questions, right? I think there's a lot which is being said from a PG landlord standpoint in your questions, right? I mean, right from that they are anyway looking for people, they are advertising on Facebook, right? But I
Yeah.
feel somewhere there are two types of matchmaking that you're trying to do, I mean, and that's kind of going to complicate your entire thing. One is the roommate to roommate
Yes.
matchmaking, and the second one is, of course, imagine three roommates come together and decide to live together. Then you're saying, hey, I will also help three of you decide where to stay.
Yes. Exactly. Exactly.
This is extremely complex matchmaking. I mean, like let's say Uber is like a very simplistic matchmaking, and still it's a complex enough business, right? But what you're trying to do is it's almost like a triangular matchmaking, and not even just triangular, right? If I have four roommates that I'm being match made with, right? If four of us are coming together to stay together, now you're telling four of us which places are available and to go to. I
Correct.
feel somewhere there that the whole challenge in your model is really either you have to decide to matchmake roommates, or you have to decide to matchmake people with PGs, right?
Correct. Correct.
So somewhere there you can tell the PG landlord, if he is your customer, that saying every time you lose a tenant, here is a place to add your that you have a vacant space, right? Uh,
Exactly.
Now you can either do it with the PG landlord, or so one of my key questions over here is that, let's say if I have taken a flat on rent from an owner, or from a PG. A PG is typically per head, right?
Good.
Right? It's a per head situation. So therefore the owner knows that, okay, there's a person who is now leaving, and therefore he needs to get someone else, right?
Correct. Yes.
So, which is why you also find the whole interest from the PG, because he's charging per head. He's not saying take my flat.
Correct. Correct.
Now, but there's a reverse situation as well, where there are a lot of people who come together and just take a flat on rent, right? And they're
Good.
just saying, listen, I am paying you 10,000 for this flat. What I do, who stays with me, multiple people, all of us will stay here together. And as long as you're okay with that, we are okay. And now this person who has rented the home is now looking for roommates, right? So somewhere there, I'm just asking, uh, and both of these models are different, right? Because in one situation, the PG owner decides that there are no people available.
Yes.
Uh, and in the second situation, it's the person living in the flat who decides there are no people, someone is leaving, so I need
Yes.
to fill the gap. Now, which one are you choosing?
Right. So that is a you know that is a so so the- so the that is the toughness in deciding choosing that issuer is in the making the money part, right? So at the end of the day, service has to cost somebody. So that is the reason why we have the landlord. Earlier, we were really a roommate to roommate app and be simple, but the idea was who's going to pay for the service we are providing. And also, we noticed that there are a lot of flat people who are looking for property owners looking for tenants. We were like, okay, let's add these people and keep it keep it open for everybody. And based on the visibility they're trying to seek, charge them. So I'm sorry, I'm maybe so if you were to ask me who are you trying to uh, choose, it is it is hard for me to decide because both are equally important for me. But I have to make a call. You're right about that.
So I think you do. You can either say that I'm solving a PG's occupation problem, right? A rental occupation problem, or that I'm solving a like-minded roommate finding problem. Right now, at the end of the day, you have to define the problem you're solving. Right? You can't say I'm solving this, but I need to solve that because I need to make money from somewhere else. All of that is convoluted logic for an early stage startup, right? I'm not
Yes.
saying a lot of startups, once they reach maturity, they open up different business lines, etc. Right?
Yes.
But early on, they still say I'm solving one problem, right? I mean, this is the problem that I choose to solve,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And then add features to it. Is
So all I'm saying is, I don't know if you have tested this out. Some suggestions I have here.
yes.
One, I don't know if you're looking right now at a market which is typically tech IT employees in their first jobs and things like that. Is that the market you're looking at?
Right now, yes, we in yes, that's the market we're looking at. In Gurgaon, that's the market we're looking at. Who are like either working from home or trying to relocate for a job.
So a few things that I know from the roommate scene, right? One, if you actually enter any retail shop, they're typically filled with people who are salespeople there who are immigrants into that city. You know, they may
Correct.
be coming from the northeast or from a different part of the city of the country, right? Or even maybe from a neighboring village or something of that sort, right? Now, these are people who need a roommate not because of matchmaking and like mindedness.
Yes.
They need a roommate because otherwise they can't survive,
Correct. Correct.
right? I mean, I
Correct.
can't actually afford to pay the rent at some
Correct.
level,
Correct.
right? So they need, and there's a nice support system. So someone new comes in from, let's say Assam or Sikkim or something of that sort into the city. They will join people from their city or from their state, right? They will
Correct.
actively seek them out and then kind of live with each other, right? Now,
Correct.
now that may happen if I have a connect in the city, but what happens if I don't have that connect, right?
Exactly.
So I'm just saying, you see, all of these are different audiences at some level, and all of them require different strategies. So if your strategy is an IT going guy, right, he may be more interested in roommate like-mindedness, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Someone who is doing working at a retail location is just worried about anyone coming, right? Someone has left, anyone come in, and I'm like in business, right? Now
Correct.
this person who is okay with anyone coming in may even be willing to pay a little bit just to kind of put out their place to get
Correct.
one lead, right? Because for them they are like, okay, I can't keep paying 3,000 rupees a month extra, right? If you charge me 100 bucks for someone who's interesting and who wants to take the place, I'm okay to pay you, right?
Correct.
So it may actually be there, but again, I'm just guessing, and you probably have to
Choose.
talk to
Choose.
your audience, right?
Yeah.
um, and sorry, I know I've been missing, so I've not been able to do the usual thing of trying to pull people on stage. So I'm going to try that now. So anyone who wants to hop on, please do, and I will kind of just raise your hand, and I will kind of pull you on, and you can have a discussion here with Gotham, right? I think some of the lines that we were discussing here is that what is the problem that is being solved and how to make money of it, right? Like for example, if your target market is that retail employee, right?
Yes.
Acquisition strategy is just to go and spread the word amongst those guys that something like this exists.
Correct.
You will almost not have any problem at all finding people because this is a burning need for them, not a nice to have.
Correct. To find. Got it. Got it. Somebody to share the expenses with.
Yeah, somebody to share their expenses with. Now you can add the layers of like-minded. Like-minded could just be from my state or speaks my language, to be honest.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right? So,
Absolutely.
I mean, you and me may have some advanced requirements, or does he also like photography, right? But
Yes.
for most people out there, they're like, I connect with you because you're from my state. You're
Correct.
from I can both of us can speak a non-English language with each other,
Correct.
right? So I'm just saying, if you flip this problem around from a nice to have, do you know photography? Do you know this, to a need based situation?
Hmm.
Your acquisition almost is kind of, it's very clear how to acquire, because you just go to one retail shop after another retail shop and just say, if you need a roommate for your wherever you're living, right? You want an additional roommate, just come and post it over here,
Correct.
right? Or if you want to shift rooms in future, or someone you know is coming in, this is the place to come to find a room, right? And now in this situation, they're not going to a PG, they're most probably going to some shared flat location, right?
Correct.
So that is something that you will have to determine. I don't know what these users do. Are the retail guys jamming up together and taking a place, or are they all individually staying at a PG? I don't know what happens, right?
So they usually come in bunches from their relative, and this is my understanding. Please, anybody correct me. Uh, uh, my understanding is that these they usually come in groups from their native villages. Like it's always uh, a connection is already made over there. I know based on what I've seen in the market nearby, and then they then they take a small place in a relatively cheap area for rent, and then they that's how they it's usually a very personal network they tend to follow.
Got it. Okay.
Just
Anyone who has, we're still taking questions, and we are, if anyone wants to raise their hand and come on stage, please do. And yeah, okay. So this is interesting, right? So, are there any unanswered questions? Because unfortunately, I was out for a fair bit. I don't even know which ones are answered and not.
so yeah, I'm just going to the question. Could you try B2B? Say to companies, here is a platform which will help your employees stay nearby or together, and maybe helpful in. That's a fantastic suggestion, Francis. That's a really uh, one of the goals for us to approach the roomie or the employees part, where we want to approach these companies. There was a pastry institute near us where we went. We were finding in our groups, Facebook groups, we were finding a lot of people who are coming from the pastry institute. So we went to the institute and I told them, "Ki, like, I have a list of PGs and just ask your people to contact me. I will provide them." And that's how we really earned a lot of commission from that one cooking institute, baking institute.
Actually, I just love this idea because it's a very easy way to get a recurring customer. I think this is like like instead of trying to get people individually, if you go to the company, you get a much larger one. You could go to anyone who uses like yeah. I mean, I think it's just like a phenomenal go-to-market strategy from an idea standpoint. I just love this one.
Yes, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because
The
then the company will keep telling every new recruit, right? They're already, the new recruit will come and say, "Oh, where do I stay? What is the price? What is this? Cost of living." All of these calculations are going on, right? And if the company says that, "Hey, listen, by the way, there are these guys who are already sharing a room. All of you can come and go together. Transport costs are lesser, staying costs are lesser, everything, right?"
Yes,
It makes sense for the company themselves to suggest the solution to them.
and the companies get to have a hold on the employees. You can't say I'm having fever because you can always ask like the other employees, is he really having fever? So why can't you introduce a feature where the earlier tenants, like the specific landlord or PG, gets preferred listing automatically when someone searching in that area? That it might work all. Oh, so Shailendra, is it the recommendation in the sense like I'm a PG landlord, somebody in my PG reviews my PG and gives me a good feature. This would help, let's say Ishwar who's looking for PG to evaluate me. Would that be the?
Yeah, I
question?
think we're just talking about a review and rating mechanism where, as a tenant, I can rate the PG,
Yeah,
right? And therefore, that is useful for me to select a new PG, right? Uh,
yeah. Yes, so that is a that is a question. That is a still an honestly speaking, that is a we have no answers for this. The reason being that although the rating system helps in choosing, but the problem we are facing, or probably the website has, is that it is more than a name of a PG. It's based on a name of a person, because we want that trust to come, that you're personally taking ownership of that PG. There's no hiding behind, sort of like Airbnb, where it's, you will see the person who's hosting you. So that is where, and, at this initial stage, if I show a PG person there is a rating, he'll be like, "Arey, if I get a bad rating, that's it. Like my business, you're just insulting it, or been giving a bad impression." So that's why we thought at a later stage, if we are able to get some traction, we will have this. I'm just going to the questions. Do you think it would be good to introduce a model where you block a place for a period of time, share, and then move on? Your platform can automatically post it for a new roomie, maybe check with existing tenant on the plan of move. Yes, absolutely. So that is, if right, absolutely. If shorter, you can say, like a booking system, like a hotel booking system, where PGs are booked for, or a place is booked for some part of time, and then that person can come back and post. That is that definitely partially there, in the sense the PG person, although the UI is really bad now, I'm realizing it, but um, the PG people can definitely share the vacant beds they have right now. Like a hotel, I can say that there are five beds available. So based on it, you can choose, and then he can, if let's say he's now got one bed available, he can come back and update the beds available, saying that there's just one bed. That feature is there, but it is not there. Like these rooms are booked for so many period of time. That is not there currently, as of now, but definitely to consider.
Kishan has an interesting point. He said it on the chat some time ago. I don't know if you've already answered this, but this kind of matchmaking, he says, is as complicated as Indian marriages, and it is like setting up a date of sorts, right? Uh, you know,
Yeah, that is really true, right? So that is really true. That at least the interface is really gone now. I'm like, as I'm doing it, I agree with you. Simplifying it, making people understand in very straightforward terms. In We were, honestly speaking, when we one of the lessons we learned is that in the quest of security, like we were like worried that women do not get any uh, bad profiles. Like a friend of mine, she posted in Suleika, and she got a lot of bad messages from somebody on WhatsApp, and she had to go. So that is a concern for us. That is the reason why you are not able to see roomies. If you're just opening the website right now, you wouldn't be able to see any roomies. You could only see the landlords, because we wanted people to sign up and make sure the person who's shortlisting is at least some sense of validation is there. But that also is a friction, right? So why would I sign up if I'm not able to see anybody out there? So
yeah, I agree. I think it's required. I mean, you have to somehow balance that, right? Because people want to know that you have enough people listed on the platform.
correct.
So I just noted down a suggestion parallelly saying that, hey, why does the roomies require a login versus landlord search doesn't require a login, right? So either that, or you explain it in some way, right? So if you feel that it's a very necessary feature, then may need some explanation, but it's okay. Yeah.
I would honestly welcome if any women group, any attendees are here, who can, who can suggest me. Is it a concern, or is it not a concern? If anybody has time, definitely I would be open to listening to them.
Wow. This is like the This is such an eye opener for me to actually look at the attendee list and figure out that we have an all male attendee list. You know, that is like the quiet side. Right. We got to do something about the ratios. Yeah.
Yeah. So, absolutely. So, we'll definitely. I'm sure eventually, definitely, a lot of people. Your last brainstorm was great. It wasn't on the dine out one. It was a great. Uh, there was a woman founder who was presenting it. So, definitely. I'm just going through the question, guys. If you can make it two levels, first level selecting a PG, then post some additional validation, allow me to select within the rooms available, would I prefer based on my interest? Ah, okay. Got it. That's a so the higher picture being the rental, and then coming to the interest part, definitely. Definitely.
So, Gautam, I mean, somewhere there, as we discuss this, right, I feel one of the key takeaways here is that one roommate matchmaking, yeah, right, which is what you probably started with, is a
Yes,
fairly complicated exercise. It's a
yes,
complicated, multi-tier, attribute matchmaking exercise that happens.
correct.
Was trying to solve something like PGs need rooms filled, right?
Yes,
Uh, they couldn't really care who comes in. I mean, they have certain basic filters, right? But I mean, they really couldn't care too much about what the individual preferences are, apart from maybe veg, non-veg kind of things, right?
correct, correct.
So one is that to simplify a matchmaking, whatever problem you're solving, simplify the matchmaking criteria.
Yes,
The second thing is that maybe go to more. Uh, I feel like go to more burning needs. Like the reason the PG is active with you is because it's a burning need for him to ensure that his PG is full, and
correct,
therefore anyone solving that problem for him is welcome, right? uh,
correct,
so so unless it's a burning need, people don't really participate much on a platform. So the
correct.
burning need has to be is either I make money or save money over here.
And thank you very much, Ishu. That's a great insight, because that is the core. That is core that defines your how to approach people as well. Uh, Writing it down.
I'm just having Arun on stage. He has a few thoughts.
Yes.
Hey Gautam, hey Ishwar.
Hey
Hi,
Arun.
Arun.
Hi. Quick thoughts. I'll get to the questions part of it later. I just wanted to have a personal suggestion in terms of the PG's element that you're focusing on, right? So, see, for me, when you initially started off, when you mentioned, let's say, Nestaway or whoever it is, you go on the other side of things. You talk about an Oyo, you talk about Nestaway, whoever it is, right? They initially became who they are predominantly because they started standardizing the whole infrastructure,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
Uh, I think PGs are fairly unorganized in that space.
Yes.
You
Yes.
don't have the infra standardized, right? Because
Correct.
expectations from a PG is still a PG. I don't really know anybody who's really disrupted that space. Saying that I'll go to the PG, I'll standardize the PG infrastructure so that the expectation from a PG is like how it is from a flat,
Correct. Correct.
right? So
Correct.
तो कोई पीजी मतलब पीजी से आके कोई बल्ब नहीं बदलता है कोई they don't standardize the whole space, right? So I think there's a lot to do in that space. That space is still cluttered, right?
Correct. Correct.
Uh, I think that's where we can probably do something there. That's one. Second thing, what I wanted to know, right, in terms of like, I really agree with Ishwar in terms of how complex the problem is to do the matchmaking, right? Also, one of the other concerns that I have, I don't know if you've thought about it. One of the other concerns that I have is, see, take a big player like a no broker or let's say a housing or whoever it is, makers, magic bricks, whoever it is, right? for them to put a feature like match mindsets kind of a skill, right? For them, it's going to be just like a filter.
Correct. Correct.
They have enough data that they're dealing with anyway.
Correct.
But it doesn't mean that you should not be focusing on what you're doing. But I'm just saying that I want to know if if you're kind of seeing that through, right?
Right. So quickly, I'll just come about the point: the standardization of PG and the copyability of by big players out there. That's a concern. Everybody asks me about how easy is it. So I'll definitely come to that. So PGs, that is a fantastic point, because see the PGs you're seeing on my platform is essentially there are PGs which are extremely well built. They are better than Nestaway and Oyo Life in terms of investment the property owners made to make that property out there. And there are also PGs which are not like not up to the mark. They just happen to be in a good locality, but the facilities provided are not up to the mark, right? So this is where we have to, at least at the initial stage, we do a filtering that at least it is livable. It doesn't has to be very cheap or something like that, where people are like, what, I mean, this is a property nobody would ever go to, right? So that some basic parameters we have in place when we approach is it a rentable property? Are we sure that you'll get a tenant for it? That little bit filters are there. But you cannot standardization would although we cannot do it on a like if you were to do, approach these landlords and tell them that we have a model which if you implement will with a consistency across the areas, we would in a way become an STP again. But the idea is to maintain the individuality of that property, like an Airbnb. You will have a lot of properties out there which are not consistent, but they do meet a standard criteria of luxury, a good experience kind of thing. So that is you could say a filter out there. Right. So coming to the question of how easy is it for is there a moat? Like that's one of the questions everybody asks, right? Is there something which nobody else can copy from you? So currently what I'm seeing, again, this is my guesstimate, I might be perfectly wrong about it. See, if you were to open a no broker right now, or a Magic Bricks right now, it is the focus is like one size fits all. So no broker right now is into building and renting, right? Same goes with Magic Bricks. Their primary customer, you could say, are the construction companies and buildings, selling of properties. Rental is a subset. In that rental subset is a broker and then a PG owner. So we are like really a very small subset of it, right? Copying is the betting really is, or the hope really. See, that's the reason why we have the social logins and all that, because there is the customer information coming in, the name and all that. Currently, Magic Bricks doesn't do it. There is no socialization aspect of it. If they were to do it, then they would have to do it for all the users out there, the brokers and everybody. So that is the hope, that they won't do the socializing because they have existing, uh, you know, uh, users who are used to one way of doing it. So again, this is just a. I mean, I do not have a perfect answer for this. They might do it as well. I don't know, but yeah.
Great, great. That's a good. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Arun. That both of them are something to keep in mind as well. Definitely.
Sure, sure.
Hey, thanks, Arun. Francis, would you like to just come up and kind of talk a little bit about the matching problem? You mentioned a smaller set of people that more people does not improve the matching, right? So I think until he comes up on stage, I'll try and interpret that. If he can, it will be best to hear from him. But some of the thoughts that I have over here is that essentially he's saying target a very narrow niche for better matchmaking, right? So let's say, um, let's say if you are just doing people who work in retail establishments, that itself is like some amount of narrow down, right? Because they all
Yeah.
work in the same place,
Correct.
right? So they have something in common over there, or you target maybe people coming from a certain part of the country, right? So
Correct.
whatever the niche that you're choosing is up to you. But
Yes.
once you've chosen that niche, suddenly matchmaking becomes a lot easier, because then, let's say with a retail establishment, all of them are working there. Secondly, they have to stay fairly close to the retail establishment, right?
Correct.
So therefore you get those criteria become tighter. And what becomes looser is, okay, like, do we have the same interests and things like that? That doesn't make as much sense.
Correct.
So
I think this is a fantastic insight because it helps in you know problem solving for us easier. Because currently, honestly, we were really wondering where to go, because honestly there is data out there, we're not sure where to go. But when Francis said it's target a narrow niche, it's a fantastic, because now we know that these are okay. I might just select Infosys, Wipro, TCS, Cognizant in the same field, right? At least,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I am really grateful for this. Uh,
Hey, I'm just getting Francis on stage, right? Hey, Francis, you're live. Thanks for joining us. We are not yet able to hear you. I'm not sure if you're speaking yet. You're on mute, Francis. Yeah, now you're not on mute. Okay, I think there is some issue that he's dealing with. We are not yet able to hear him. Um, if he manages to solve that, we'll take that. Or if someone else is joining us on stage, right? Um,
the questions. Oh my God, there's 7 questions I forgot to answer. One second.
hey, Swami, would you like to just come on stage? I see a lot, but I know I haven't managed to pull you up. Hey, just handing over the mic to Swami.
Hey Gautam, hi Ishwar, morning.
Hey,
Hi, Swami.
So
Nice to meet
nice to meet you. I just had a couple of questions, and I'm not sure if that would help you. But the idea is to see if you can, if you address for example, a retail chain and whatever migrant population they're bringing in, and then you make it share, or an IT company, etc. Instead of you allowing them to always come and explore and make it a habit for their employees to come here, rather would you not prefer to take the control of the inventory, and you make sure that you are connecting it with multiple corporates or tie-up network, and it can be even a short term. Say for example, I might come for 15-day camp or training and then go back, or I might be an employee who might be staying there and for a 6-month period. So it could be any of those. And especially when we hire for our own IT companies, typically we give a 15-day accommodation and all that, right? We
you. Correct.
sleep in a hotel and all that, or we have our own, what do you call we would have our own guest houses made, right?
Yeah.
So whole segment, I don't really mind if I can outsource it to somebody and somebody manages my inventory, right?
Correct.
Uh, One area I thought, if you would want to possibly explore, if that makes sense, I don't know. The second one is if you are still doing the individual focused entity, like the roommate connecting with roommate.
Yes.
Uh, at least even I have faced that experience. I've been in a room, but I don't really like the guy, and I like the PG, but I can't go and tell I want to change in room, right? We
Yes.
are as a country, we don't necessarily or express ourselves so blunt, right?
Yes. Yes.
So if you can create some kind of a platform where even now the youngsters would they wanted to do something or explore more things, right? So you can create some kind of a post connection or post hiring platform.
Yes.
I place anonymous request, or it becomes a gaming where I change every third month a new room, uh,
Correct.
and explore different entities if I want to, right?
Correct.
That creates that pattern collection of data about individual preferences, etc. And then your matchmaking also might probably be more better, right? Because you have
Correct.
more data. So these two were the thoughts. I don't know. I've tried typing it. Was not very sure how to bring it.
Thanks a lot, Swami. That was really both are like really valid insight. The short-term rentals, the I agree to it. I'm not again. The problem we really face is this is a problem we've also faced where girls come into a group and say, "I'm just looking for a place for a month," right? So when we go to the landlords or the property, they're like 1 month is like I will get another tenant it will stay for 6 months. So that cost of searching another person is a thing which plays in their mind. But there can be like I could definitely have a option within the PG or talk to a PG person and say, why don't you do it in a service? If it's close to a corporate park, any of these IT parks, I can definitely, or maybe it's already there. I'm not sure about that. Where I can talk to them and say, I'll get you short-term people. Uh, and you should be if you're open with it you could probably charge higher. We are also currently getting a lot of hotels who are trying to come to us and say if you're looking for if you're getting tenants, why don't you get it for hotels as well. So that is a uh, that is probably a thing which is going on. The second post, that is a very important thing because I faced the same. I ended up landing with somebody who knows a lot and I couldn't really like there was a lease and all that, so I couldn't really move out. So that is the reason why you could again use this platform to like come back and see anybody else who's in the area who's again like on the looks or something like that where you can exchange or something. But I'll definitely there's also a forum in the platform where you can discuss your issues, youth issues or anything like that, which we hope the other members can help again.
See, there I was slightly thinking from a different perspective, right? So because if you're solving a PG occupancy problem,
Hmm.
the guy wouldn't want you to be moving out just because you had a partner who is snoring, because he cannot control the snore, but he can control the infrastructure which he is giving you and the experience, right?
Correct.
So if there is a provision for me to pay an extra dime and subscribe to your platform, which allows me to get anonymous feedback of people and who would want to change and probably connect somebody else who
Hmm.
has a similar problem,
Hmm.
and within the PG, I'm still retaining the people, right? For that I pay a premium. So I was
Okay.
from that perspective and not the individual's problem of moving out, right?
Hmm.
Occupancy.
Hmm. 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 This is yes.
So, Swami, just to kind of understand that little more, what you're saying is there a way for the PG to collect anonymous feedback from people and rearrange them so that they get along with each other?
So I mean, my assumption here is there is some drop off, right? And that is causing your availability of or unsold inventory in your PG, right? The cost could be that I'm getting transferred or I'm getting married or whatever whatnot, but the cost could also be that I not necessarily like the roomie, but it's very difficult and to go express and then get a different room, right? Unless and if I'm okay to pick up a fight, right? Or get judged, right? So I was thinking if the PGs can create or even infrastructure related issue, if this platform can extend into PG having a way to hear from the actual members who are tenants and try to solve that, which could be soft problems, which could be hard infrastructure problems, but use it as an avenue to retain the existing people. That was the third extension, and for that I pay the best roomies as an extra.
So I'm just wondering, I have a feeling that a lot of these PGs will have some manager or someone who you can reach out to, right, as an occupant, because I'm assuming there will still be issues with plumbing, with something, with food, right? Someone needs to be there as a point contact, either the person who owns the PG himself sometimes, or at least a representative who's always there on premises, right? Gautam, is that an understanding is right?
His thanks, and now I get the crux of the issue, Swami. And I did come across a product which is doing that, although not ours, but it was something which struck me also. So there is this startup out there which I met the founder I think about last year. So he was creating a rental management platform for the PG. It's basically an app where I am the PG landlord and I ask all my tenants to onboard onto that PG. I can collect my rentals, whatever the issues are there. Let's say you tank is not water tank, pani water is not there, or like the issues you said, where I could discuss with the landlord. That app enabled that. There were different levels they went about it, but now the issue really came was that once they started charging, and also because of the COVID-19 crisis, a lot of PG and landlords went out of it. So there is definitely a product which is doing that, which is they also do an e-verification of the tenant, in the sense e-tenant verification, whatever the Aadhaar or the PAN based verification. That was also a problem which I thought was interesting. I was wondering if they could, I don't know, share an API or something like that, where we solve the supply side of it, or getting the tenants part of it, and they could take up the e-verification or the post rental part of it. But there is this is one startup which I did come across who is on this path.
Hey, I just want to take another. Sorry, Swami, you want to say something? Just one more question as this. Go ahead. No, I mean, there's just, I wanted to take one more person on stage before we kind of wrap up. So I was just wondering if you have any last words, just say that. Yeah, okay, cool. Thanks. Thanks, Swami. Uh, Francis, yeah, I'm just bringing Francis back on stage. He had the whole niche feature suggestion.
Yes.
Hey, Francis. I think unfortunately he may have the same problem. Okay, and I also saw someone else raise their hand, but the request has disappeared. I don't remember who it was. Kishan, yeah. I'll just hand over the mic to Kishan.
Hi, Iswar and Gautam.
Hi,
Hey,
Kishan.
Kishan.
So initially, I suggested that right now, what I'm seeing with Magic Bricks, they are charging enormous amount to the PG owners for the discovery of the tenants. So what you can do is you can mold the PG owners to your point of view by forcing them to register their existing tenants. Uh,
Okay. Okay.
by giving them some sort of incentives, like only if you register at least 3 tenants, then and then only you can be on my platform and get the new users for the free. Other suggestions is like I'm thinking about that right now. If you have heard of the app called House Party,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
that app growth had a very unbelievable growth in a very short time. So I think in cities like Gurgaon or NCR region, people want to be in a uh, friend group which is like chill. So I think you can create exclusive groups in your app, and only people with that kind of thinking can join. So that can bring you enormous amount of user growth in a short time. So if you can, I think it's possible, but I don't know in terms of execution of the practicality.
both are fantastic suggestions, Kishan. Both are fantastic suggestions. The suggestion of onboarding the tenants. If you talk to the tenants in that PG, you could ask them to sign up. If he can, if the PG guy asks his tenants to sign up, I could probably pay him or something like that, just to get some initial users on board. Definitely,
It,
it's just a cost or whatever, cost to benefit aspect to it. But I definitely look into it. The second thing which you said, make exclusive groups where people can chill out. That is a fantastic idea. There is also one product I know which is trying to address this, which is I mean, again, this is all built and everything, but I know a product which is trying to do it, which they what they do is they connect with the youth. They do a virtual event every Saturday because of COVID and all that. Earlier it used to be room parties. Actually, what it used to happen is like they would approach a flatmate and say, "Hey, why don't you host a party and we'll get you party people to for the party, and you can charge the people for the party." So there was one startup. There is one startup. So this is again a this is a grow like yes, definitely something to keep in for a revenue perspective. But yeah, it would again if you were able to solve the initial problem, get people interested in us, then uh, build upon. That definitely be a nice thing.
Hey, there's one more question from Rachit. What if people just come on your platform, find a roommate, but don't actually book a PG there? Is there a way for you to profit still, or do you just lose the customer? Or I guess you've built a lot of these solutions so that you don't lose the customer.
Yes, so that is one of the reasons why we have the PG. The idea is but it is quite a possibility. You might just go through and you're like, this is not a PG I like. I know another place, and that's quite a possibility. We could probably charge people who are looking for accommodation, post, let's say we allow them to shortlist about 7 people. You get a chance to talk to 7 people and find a roommate. But if you're still not able to find it and you're shortlisting more people, we could probably charge you there. That is the reason why we want people to sign up looking for those are the that's the demand currently. What 99 acres and all the are not doing is they're not taking care of the people who are looking for an accommodation. It's purely like supplying them information. But if you have these people in your network who are looking for an accommodation, change accommodation yearly basis or a 2 yearly basis, you can build a long relationship with them. Wherever they move, they know that there's a solution where I could have an accommodation.
Sounds good. I want to thank everyone who came in today. It's almost 12:15. I want to kind of be cognizant of time. I hope this was kind of useful for you, Gautam, and I hope there were a few takeaways. Um, and sorry again for all the internet mishaps at my end. I was not available for large parts of this session for to kind of take down some notes or to get people on stage. We'll try and ensure that there are a few more backups in place from an internet standpoint as we move along. Yeah, tell any parting words, Gautam.
Yeah, closing marks very short. I first of all want to thank each and everyone who gave me an hour to listen to and share their feedback. This is really cool. Which it's very difficult to assemble this, so I'm really grateful for solving this issue, because a lot of startup people will have this issue. Any startup which doesn't have this platform will be at a disadvantage. I'm telling you, there's no sweet words. I'm telling you frankly.
So good to hear. I mean, not that they're at a disadvantage, that the platform helps, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
because asking anybody for a feedback, being within your family, friends, and getting an honest feedback is very difficult. It's the most valuable thing any idea or a product would have. So I'm first of all thankful to you, Ishwar, and all the audience who's come today and given their brains to me.
Super.
Second of all, I'm always open for any thoughts and anything. My email is gautam at the rate gautam.
Just type it out in the chat,
Yeah,
if you don't mind.
Gautam at the rate bestmeals.com. This is. I would definitely like to be available to anybody who's interested in the project, and definitely see how we can benefit.
Awesome. The conversation continues on the tables. All of you who still want to just grab a few minutes, talk to the other folks on the tables, and just kind of introduce what you're working on, please do that. This is meant to also enable an after session networking meetup. Just catch up and chat a little bit. Gautam, if you have the time, you can join on the tables as well. It may
Yes,
be
yes,
useful for you to get some additional one-on-ones,
yes.
or maybe you can also hear what other people are working on and just share two bits.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. Always open to ideas. Definitely.
perfect. So we're going to take a break now. See you at the tables. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you, Ishwar. Thank you very much.